Hey guys, how you doing? This is Mark with Behind Closed Doors. Everybody can get it. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? For my first timers that are, pretty much on the platform. Hey, this is a podcast series that I put together for my caregivers of the world, right? Folks who basically caregive for somebody that can't take care of themselves, whether that's through special needs, whether that's elderly care. Blind, or some individuals have mental illnesses and things like that need that extra hand and extra caregiving, right? If that's the case, then guess what? This platform is just for you. This is the place for you to tap in. My story, right? I was at one point, I actually still am a sandwich caregiver, but I was a sandwich caregiver times three, right? I was actually caregiving for my son, special needs son. He's 11 years old. He has multiple diagnoses. He's 24-hour care, 11-year-old. And he definitely keeps us on our toes and definitely keep us busy. And then also, do some caregiving as well from a younger brother, that, still needs a little hand in life and things like that as well. But I raised up with a brother that required special needs as well. Right now, he's doing pretty good on his own, man. He's an 80-20, right? Which we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about that 80-20 philosophy, and that I kind of put together, and I really think that it sticks, right? So guys, I have my fair share of caregiving, right? That's kind of some of my latest background since birth all the way through, but I did work in care facilities and things like that as well. Mainly with young men and young ladies, right? So I have my fair share of working with people, right? And it's always a common thread. Today I'm gonna be talking about that 80-20 rule in an announcement, right? And it's an announcement. It's a call to action, if you would, right, guys? I got a program that I've been talking about. It's been at the edge of the seat for a while, and I told you guys in 2026 that I will be bringing it to life. It is so much needed, as we, so much so we hear it through our comments. On our Caregiver Chronicles platform on Facebook, probably what you're on right now, you'll probably get an opportunity to tap in, but it's a great platform. Man, we nevertheless, man, we're really growing. We're really growing, man. We got a lot of folks that see what we see, right? Or either feel what we feel. But either way it goes, you guys are there, and I thank you guys. I thank you for helping Caregivers Chronicle and Behind Closed Doors. It's all one platform, right? It's almost like a shopping center, if you would. If you could come in for resources, you can do all kinds of things within the platform, connect with other families, connect with service providers all over the world, It wasn't designed like that initially, but it ended up being that way. I'm in, Phoenix, Arizona. And speaking of Phoenix, Arizona, guys, this is a program that I was looking to roll out for quite some time. And that's a service that I will be putting together that basically is more of like a check-in service, right? It's real informal, right? It's a check-in service. One of the things that I found raising a special needs child and dealing with my mom, going back and forth to care facilities, they had their similarities, right? And one thing that was definitely in common, whether you go into a school, right? I got to go to a school to make sure that my special need kiddo is getting treated fairly, or whatever the case it is, doing those check-ins, making sure that everything is right. Or I'm in a facility, trying to check and make sure, my programming needs, my mom her programming needs were getting met. And, I created a service that I don't know if it's really new or anything. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's going to have its uniqueness because the check-in service will allow us to go check in on loved ones, right? To go into the facilities and do a little preliminary check, a wellness check, and ultimately advocacy. And if the advocacy extends more, like we might see one little problem that needs a meeting, right? Then it'll move into advocacy, which I am a certified advocate, and I'll be more than happy to bring my passion, bring my expertise, bring my experience, all the nuances and things like that I have gained over the years of being a caregiver, all the way from when I was a kid, ladies and gentlemen. I had those caregiver obligations, early on in my life to take care of my younger brother. But nevertheless, guys, this plan, I'm going to read some things to you guys right now to kind of give you an idea of what this plan is going to be about. The service that I will be providing in the Phoenix, Arizona area. Yes, it will be finished. I'm just waiting on some little fine things that, to get taken care of and things like that. After that, we will be making noise. But today, I want to get some feedback, right? I want some guys to I want you guys and ladies, to, step up and just tell me what you think, whether you're a professional, right? You're a professional caregiver in a facility, whether you're a parent or a family taking care of a family, whatever your situation is. I really think that this program will be very formidable. Man, let me just tap in, right? I'm excited. I'm very excited. So, when you're caring for an elderly care loved one or a special need loved one, you often been told to find the best placement, right? Now, we talked about the best placement. I talked best placement a lot in a lot of the videos and stuff like that. If it comes to the point whether you're having a loved one getting cared for at home or you're having a loved one getting cared for in a facility, there is expectations either way it go, right? It's not like, okay, well, some things go bad or things don't go wrong in a facility, but everything is just all roses and everything at home. No, it don't necessarily work that way. It needs to be an accountability check-in, and that's what we're going to do, right? Realistically, right? If a program if you get lucky, if you find a program, a school, a day treatment, or anything to that effect, just to get it at about a good percentage, about 80-90%, you're doing good. You're doing damn good, right? I've been around to a lot of facilities, to agencies and things like that. And man, you're talking like 50, 60. So the fact that, we're trying to find a perfect facility, a perfect school, a perfect program, it doesn't work like that, right, guys? What's going to make it perfect is either you as the family, the professional, whoever the case it is, or ourselves, right? That's what we're looking to do. And we're looking to bridge the gap, which is the 20%. But like I said, it's missing that 20% that makes up the break experiences. That 20% is wellness, right? Wellness, communication, and advocacy. Those are the 3 points. I've been beating this up for years. Trust me, I know those are intricate points. Wellness, I'm gonna say it again. Communication and advocacy. Those are the 3 points that we will be covering, right? When we go into a facility, we're coming in with those hats on, with all that stuff in mind. That's why we built the check-in service, right? To show up in the group homes, the schools, right? The facilities, the homes, whatever the case, right? Whether you're a family, you got a member that, granddad, uncle, and cousin so-and-so is taking care of grandma, but we need some accountability there. Maybe we can't oversee and get some some oversight, get some communication back, or whatever the case it is, that making sure that your loved one is getting the points checked, right? The cleanliness, the communication, the doctor's appointments, and then ultimately moving into the end life. Unfortunately, as you deal with folks that's kind of on their last leg, right? Generally it's with elderly care, but it could be some terminal cancer or anything to that effect. And to me, caregiving, that whole transition at the end life, getting everything together, all that stuff is part of caregiving. So we want to make sure that all those points get touched. We're not replacing staff. We're not reinforcing care, right? And once again, we checking in. We're coming in, and we know what we coming there to look for, right? We've been down this road. I've been down this road. I know the expectations that come along with it. Sometimes families feel that 20%, right? Caregivers do, and sometimes, like I said, it can be done. But when you have people man, maybe it's a single mom or single dad with 4 or 5 kids and just happen to have a mom or dad or uncle or loved one in the facility. They may or may not can't be able to do that, right? But they want some trusted eyes, some trusted ears, some people with some integrity, and some people that been about this stuff, right? You know what I mean? I've been about this stuff, to go in and make sure that, if it is up 2 or 3 times a month, to kind of, touch bases and kind of make sure that, hey, I know where, such him or her or whoever, is doing okay. Excuse me. Phoenix, like I did mention Phoenix, the Phoenix area, we'll be rolling it out. I know we have a demographic here. I know we do. And we have folks that can definitely need the services. So roll call, ladies and gentlemen. If this service, is something that you think about, give me your thought processes, right? I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but I always wrap services, wrap programs, wrap content and everything around the people that I serve. That's just behoove me to do so. Where would it make the biggest difference in your opinion, right? Group homes, schools, transitional programs, elderly care, assisted living facilities. Those are the areas that we're going to be touching. So, hey, if it's an A, group homes, B, schools and transition homes and that sort of thing, like group homes, and then C, elderly care, assisted living facility. So let me go through one more time, and I will put the notes here so you guys have an opportunity to do so. So don't forget, this is a roll call. I'm just trying to get I'm gonna be coming in and out, asking questions along the way. Help me help you or your loved one, right? Help me do so. A, once again, group home, right? Group home or residential care. Group home or residential care. That's A. B, schools or transition programs, right? Which I've been a part of all of these. And then C, elderly care or assisted living. Drop your city, right? I want to know if this stuff even exists in your city, in your state, in your town, right? Also, what sort of services is formidable to somebody being checked on? You know what I mean? Well, we're going to be putting together that list, right? And I'm going to be excited about it. We also did a post. It'll be in Caregivers Chronicle as well, just asking for some feedback as well. Feedback or no feedback, I'm going to pursue it because I know what's up. But ideally, like I said, before we roll out a program, we do like to learn those nuances prior to. So, guys, I wanted to thank you for chiming in. Just like I said, this is a short one today, behind closed doors podcast series. We just tapping in on this much needed service. I think this is going to be some groundbreaking stuff. And I think what makes it groundbreaking is not just the service itself, but you have folks like myself. You have folks like my wife and, my other staff as well that comes along. And, what we come with, right? We had loved ones in those situations. We got loved ones in that situation, and we probably got some going in that situation, right? Being caregave for, right? And we just hope that everything will be done right. And remember that 80-20 rule, guys. You're not going to find a perfect facility. Man, I got to give kudos out to him. Man, my big cuz, man, she told me one time, Mark, we were in the hunt trying to find the perfect facility. And I tell you, we went through them, bouncing my mom from facility to facility trying to find the right one, when in essence, just try to get it at 80%, 70, 80%. They have the benchmark checkpoints and things like that, which I will be also. This will be like part 1. I'm going to make a part 2. The part 2 is going to be like a little checklist for you guys to know what you're looking for when you go into the facilities. I'm going to run through that, to kind of help you out, to get you to that 70, to get you to that 80, to get 100%. Oh my God. It's difficult. You can find real nice ones where you can eat off the floor, but they treat your people like shit in the back. And then vice versa, So it's all over the right. But that 20%, the 20% is the big deal, right? You bring that 20% to the table as a family, as a professional, right? That's what's going to make this a marriage, right? If you would. So guys, thank you for chiming in behind closed doors. Everybody can get it. Tap in, tap in, tap in. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. You guys take it easy.